Have you ever driven into a town that you've never visited before and somehow you already knew where everything was? The Starbucks, the Chick-fil-A, the Costco, the apartment complexes, maybe the gas station, grocery store, the gym, the bank. Everything felt familiar, not because you'd been there before, but because it looked almost identical to the last town and the one before that, and the one before that. It's a strange feeling, I know, almost unsettling, as if every place is slowly becoming the same place. Most people stop there. They assume companies are just copying each other. The corporations have made every town identical. But I don't think that's the real story necessarily. I think we're watching something maybe even much bigger. Welcome to the signal shift. Today, I want to introduce another signal hiding in plain sight. Not a headline, not a political debate, a pattern. One that's quietly reshaping the places we live and eventually the way we think. I call it convergence through optimization. Imagine your developer, builder, brand new shopping center, right? You aren't trying to reinvent civilization. You're trying to reduce risk, right? You ask simple questions. Which restaurants succeed? Which stores reliably pay rent? Where do customers already go? What layout has worked hundreds of times before? Now imagine the bank financing that project. They're asking almost exactly the same questions. What has the highest probability of success, right? So already it's been proven. What tenants have the strongest financial history? Now think about the city, let's say. They want tax revenue, jobs, reliable infrastructure, minimal surprises. The engineer wants repeatable designs. The architect wants efficient patterns. The retailer wants maximum visibility. The customer wants convenience. Notice something. Nobody woke up and decided, let's make every town look identical. Instead, everyone was solving different problems using the same incentives. And when millions of people optimize for similar goals, they often arrive at remarkably similar answers. That's convergence. It's one of the most powerful forces in complex systems. And once you notice it, you start seeing it everywhere. Look at airports. Different countries, different cultures. Yet, somehow, they all feel strangely familiar. Hotels, office buildings, hospitals, apartment complexes, business parks, even websites. Over time, they begin looking more and more and more alike. Not because creativity disappeared, but because successful designs keep surviving. Nature has been doing this for millions of years. Rivers carve similar patterns, right? Trees branch remarkably consistent ways. Even evolution, independently developed eyes multiple times. Different paths, similar solutions. Optimization naturally produces convergence. And then the internet accelerated everything. Years ago, a successful shopping center in one state might take decades to influence another. Today, the moment something works, the entire industry sees it. Architects, developers, investors, city planners, retailers. Everyone learns at the same time. The world begins sharing one giant playbook that makes systems more efficient, more predictable, often more profitable. But it also creates something we've all started to feel. Places become harder to remember. You remember the trip, but not the town. You remember eating dinner, but not where. Because your brain isn't storing unique experiences anymore. It's recognizing familiar patterns. Think about your own life. How many intersections could be almost anywhere? How many neighborhoods look interchangeable? How many shopping centers feel like copies of one another? That isn't your imagination. It's the natural outcome of millions of people optimizing simultaneously. But here's the question that really interests me personally. If optimization causes buildings to converge, what else might be doing that? Ideas, education, entertainment, technology, culture, politics, even the language that we're using. When every system begins optimizing, does diversity naturally shrink, or does it simply move somewhere harder to see? That's a question I don't think we've fully answered yet. Because this episode was never really about Starbucks or Chick-fil-A or apartment complexes. They're simply the visible symptom of something much larger. The real signal is convergence. The tendency for complex systems to become increasingly alike without anyone actually planning for them to do that. And once you understand that, you'll start seeing this pattern far beyond cities. Yeah. You'll see it across civilization itself. Because sometimes the biggest shifts aren't the things that suddenly appear. They're the things that slowly stop being different. And once you notice that, it's almost impossible to unsee it. See you tomorrow, guys.